Welcome to the Solo Gaming Spotlight, where I focus on the solo mode of a game, give you my thoughts, the decision space that the game provides, and sometimes some minor rule tweaks that may improve your experience with the game. Today we're looking at Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. I played it a dozen times, and mostly as a goblin. So let's get the thoughts of the Goblin War Chief.
My thoughts?
Sorry, he demanded an excessive amount of gold for his thoughts. And he does wear a skull for a hat, so his taste is outstanding. But I just can't afford him, so we're just going to have to go with my thoughts. Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria is aesthetically pleasing on the table, as you can see here. So let me give you a little bit of the lay of the land and what's going on. In the game, you take on the role of a warlord from one of the Shadow Realms, pushing back against the encroaching citizens settling your lands. And we do that by completing sinister battle plans that are located on the left side of the board. Like for instance, we have here Infiltrate Crystal Lake Encampment. In order to do so, we need a gray and a red die to successfully infiltrate the camp, which are the skeletons and the orcs respectively. And when we look, we can see the main board does have red and gray dice available to accomplish this battle plan. So on my turn, I'm going to go to the magic shrine, because that's how you get the dice you need. You take your worker, place him in the shrine, take an available die, place it on your player board, in one of these available slots here, and then you can take an action that the shrine provides. In this case, we're going to go ahead and gain 2 magic. That's it for our turn. The enemy goes and he moves 1 space clockwise. Whoops, right into our shrine. Because of that, he's going to gain 2 points. Now it's back to our turn. We go, and let's head to the tactic shrine to pick up that gray die. Now if you look closely at the die, obviously we can see it's a 5. But in the bottom left corner, we can see a 1. And whenever you visit one of the bottom 3 shrines, you get a discount or exchange bonus equivalent to this little number in the corner. So here in the Tactics Shrine, we get a discount of 1 on whatever battle plan we'd like. So let's grab the battle plan for infiltrating the Crystal Lake Encampment. So we have to put that in our reserve slot, which we put right here, and we have the option of paying 1 gold to gain 1 influence. And you're going to do that every time you can, so let's pay the gold and increase our influence, and I'll show you why shortly. Now, let's just go ahead and slide down all these battle plans and reveal a new one up in the top 5 cost slot. Now it's the enemy's turn, and he moves to the Champion Shrine. That's it. The AI is super quick and easy, and that is a big plus. Now, in order to complete the infiltration of the Crystal Lake Encampment, we have to move our warden piece over to our player board, because this is our war camp, where we muster our troops and strike at the enemy. Now, at our war camp, we can enact a battle plan that we have the matching dice to complete, whether the battle plan is in one of our reserve slots or if it's still available, in which case we just have to pay the full cost and then go to battle. There's nothing available over there that we can complete, so let's go ahead and complete the infiltration of the Crystal Lake Encampment. So we go ahead and match the dice on the battle plan, the gray and the red, and then we add up the total. 5 and 4 equals 9, and we can see here on the board that we earned a whopping 3 points. But there's a couple important things to know here. First thing is that we can spend a magic to increase a die result by 1, and we can do this multiple times as long as we have the magic available. So we can spend 2 magic to turn this 4 into a 6, which I just did, but do note that 6 is the max you can go. You can never make a 6 a 7. The second important thing you need to know is that this influence number here, that is the max battle strength that you can have. So even if you had a dice total of 12, you would still only have a battle strength of 11. And this puts a higher priority on increasing your influence in the game, and it does state that in the rulebook. And so let's go ahead and score our 6 victory points from having an 11 battle strength. And now, here's something fun and enjoyable. Whenever we complete a battle plan, we get to take one of these green tokens that you see here on our board, and we get to unlock something that's sort of restrictive to us. And the first thing, as a solo player, that I always do in 11 out of the 12 games is I always remove this conquest marker, restricting me to 13 influence points. It also restricts gold and magic as well, but mostly those influence points in the beginning of the game. Next decision we get to make is where are we going to put this token on our skirmish map. So a couple of things we need to know about the skirmish map is that if we place our tokens in a certain pattern, we open up an award action when we visit the magic shrine. So let's take a look at the area next to the shrine where each game you'll have 3 different scoring awards. And we can see right here that if we complete it in a T pattern, that we can score 8 victory points. Now we can rotate either our scoring award or our skirmish map itself to get the patterns to match and still be able to complete the award. Now we could take our token, you see this bow and arrow here, how it matches that? We could take our token, put it there and score 2 victory points. Or we can go here and get 1 victory point because it only, or the gray one, and only get 1 victory point because we only use 1 of that colored die in the battle. Now the cool thing about the skirmish map is when you place a second one, you unlock the bonus in between. And so you'll be mindful of that as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my skirmish token on the red area and score 1 victory point. And the last thing we need to do is go ahead and grab that battle plan and put it off to the side of our board in the completed battle plan area. All right, the enemy goes and he's going to move into the gold shrine. And the next turn, he's going to move into the tactic shrine, and he's going to complete the battle plan in the 5 cost slot at the top. And he's going to score points depending on the amount of dice the plan requires. He'll get 9 points for a 2 battle dice plan, 12 for a 3 battle dice plan, and 15 for a 4 battle dice plan. So you want to try and manage that during solo play, especially as this is where the majority of the enemy's points come from. Now, whenever we visit the gold shrine, we take the die and we receive gold in the amount on the bottom left of the die. And every die in the game, the 2 values always equal 6. So we see that this die with an attack strength of 2 yields us 4 gold. If it were a 6, we would receive no gold. Over here at the champion shrine, we'd get a discount like we do at the tactic shrine. Here, if we use the 5, we get 1 discount on one of them. Now, up at the top, we have our instantaneous effects. So if we buy one of these, we get an immediate effect. Here, we immediately get 2 influence. Now, in the middle row are the ongoing effects. This you get for the rest of the game. So right here, every time you gain an influence, you gain a gold with it. And you get that all game long. Here in the third row are the endgame scoring champions. For instance, this here Bombardier will gain you 2 victory points for each of these siege battle plans you complete, to a maximum of 10. You can also spend magic at the champion shrine to go ahead and discard a champion. And you can do that for as much magic as you have. For instance, I spent a magic. I could get rid of this ongoing. I draw a new one. And then the card I discarded ends up going to the bottom of the stack. And I can continue to repeat that. Now, the cost of the champions does have a plus sign next to it. And what that means is, say I already purchased these 2 ongoing cards here. And then I wanted to buy another one. Well, it would cost me 3 plus the amount I already have. So it would be 3, 4, 5 to purchase that peddler. The gem shrine lets us take a die and gain a gem. And you can spend a gem only when you complete a battle plan. To either make a die wild, so that it can be used as any color to satisfy a battle plan requirement, or to flip a die over, effectively turning a 1 into a 6, a 2 into a 5, a 3 into a 4. And like I said earlier, the Magic Shrine does have a different option available if you have completed an award at the top here. And these awards are another way you're going to be scoring points. Now, if you do complete an award, you will get the points awarded here. For instance, over here, if you end up getting these 3 battle plans completed, you can come here and claim the award, and you will get 7 victory points. However, the AI enemy always comes in second, and he's going to score 5. Now, if you don't score it at all, he's going to end up getting 7 points for it instead. And when you do end up scoring the award, you get to take one of the tokens off of your player board and put it up on the award. So let's talk about your player board and the things that get unlocked. This token allows you to have 6 champions. This token allows you to have a max of 10. This one allows you to use green dice as a wild, similar to the usage of a gem. You can use it for any color when satisfying battle plans. This token allows you to have 3 gems. This token down here allows you to have another reserve spot where when you put a card there, you can pay 2 gold and draft a die. You don't get to take the action. This token allows you to get +1 in battle, but you still are limited by your influence points or your influence marker. This token allows you to reserve another spot and allows you to pay a gold to get a champion where you don't have to pay that extra gold for how many you have. These 2 tokens over here allow you to unlock a 4th and 5th die slot. You'll play until either you or the AI collects 7 battle plans. If the AI completes 7 battle plans first, you end the game immediately and you score up and see who won. If you collect your 7th battle plan first, the enemy AI gets to move 1 more spot, and if it does move into that tactic shrine, it will score another battle plan, which can certainly be the determining points in whether you win or lose the game. So now you have a strong understanding of how to play the game. There's a couple things I'll touch on as I'm speaking here that I forgot to mention, but they're more on the minor side. Anyway, one of the biggest complaints I have is that the first couple games I played with the gnolls, who are the brown characters, and when you unlock their wild token, you can make a brown die wild to fit, the color you need for a battle plan. And then I switched to the goblins for the remaining 9 games I played. And the only difference between the factions was the wild die was now green instead of brown. Now, on the other side of your player board, there's this whole blank spot, and this would have been a perfect spot to have another side where they had asymmetrical powers. Now, this game scored a 7.6 on Board Game Geek, and I guarantee that if they had these variable player powers in this game would be ranked over an 8 easily. Another gripe I have is I wish that the top 2 shrines would have given you some sort of bonus when you grab the lower valued dice. It feels like a missed opportunity there. Maybe if you had, hey, a variable player power, and that amount gave you progress, and then maybe when you reach 10, you got to take a certain action like converting gold to magic, or vice versa, looking at the top 3 cards of the battle plan deck and rearranging them. Something like that that made it a little more fun to go to those top 2 shrines. The other complaint that I have is your influence. And I think this is the wild space that I pointed to that earlier, but that's the wild token for your color. This is the most important token to remove in solo play because you only get 3 victory points. You know, you can see how much more your victory points go up for each battle plan you complete. That will change your scoring tremendously. So you will quickly learn as a solo player that if you complete 7 plans and you haven't raised your influence, that's 3 points per battle plan. It's only 21 points. By the time you're at a dozen games, you're going to be starting the enemy at 30 victory points. You give him a head start. That's how you adjust it, how you adjust the difficulty. So you quickly realize how important influence is, and it's important really early, and it's always the first thing that I ended up taking off is this token. The one game that I didn't, I ended up taking a gem token because I needed to make a couple of the dice a different color. It's just the way the battle plans landed out that game. But the other 11 games, always. And even in the game where I removed the gem token first, that was the second token I removed. And I think that could have been fixed if they just moved that maybe up to the 16, so it wasn't a big priority as early on. Another thing is this reserve. I always want to take this reserve because it increases your influence. So I don't find myself until the end of the game sometimes popping this one off to maybe get a discount, buying one of the end scoring champions. And if I already have 2 or 3 of them, it just decreases the cost. So this one I usually never get. This one, unfortunately, this +1, I mean, if you have 2 battle dice, the highest you can get is 12. If you have 3, the highest you can get is 18. That's 6s on all sides, right? Take a look. So that +1, it doesn't even bring you up to the next scoring level. Not in the 12 to a 13, nor does the 18 go to the 19 to increase your scoring. So that's, I have used it in a couple games just to see, but I don't know that I'll ever want to take that bonus. It does have, there is a champion that's an ongoing champion that provides you a +1 as well to your boost. And combined, they'll jump you up, but you're still limited by your influence. The influence is just quite powerful in this game. And I don't know that I want it to be balanced because I still really enjoy the game. It just seems that, you know, it's a heavy priority. It is. And as a solo player, you'll realize that, and everything else kind of tiers down. Your gold's important because you need to buy your champions and your battle plans, and magic seems to come in at a 3rd tier that's just not as important. Now, that being said and combined is I really enjoy the game. And I just went and purchased the Riftlands expansion, which guess what? It includes variable player powers. It also has a Riftlands area that I believe that you spend magic to go there, prioritizing, making magic a little more valuable in the game. So I'm really curious to see how that plays. I will be doing a review on that once I get enough plays in to be able to give you my opinion. So if you want to hit the bell notification, if you're not subscribed and you're interested in hearing what I have to say about that, please do so. The thought space that the game provides, you usually think 1 or 2 turns out. You're trying, you're going to have the certain amount of dice that you want, and you're going to be going to the different spots, trying to avoid letting him move into your spot and gain 2 victory points when he does so. In the beginning of the game, you'll probably put the most thought, as well as when the board reseeds. Every time, I forgot to mention this, every time the amount of dice on the shrines gets down to 3 in the solo game, you're going to take the dice off the board, throw it back in the bag, shake it up, and take out 2 new dice per shrine, re-roll them, and so it reseeds your board, and then you have to think again, hey, what's the best spot for me to go? Now, sometimes the game does provide, you'll have a couple of champions you want, and the new dice might, make some of the battle plans interesting as well, and you're going to give thought, for possibly 5 turns out. Like, oh, I want this, I got to get there, I got to stop, I got to get the gold first to go here. I need that gem to flip that 1 to a 6 to complete that battle plan. And so you will have to think, for sometimes 5 turns out, mostly 3 to 4 turns out, and it will give you a crunchy feel. But that's when you reseed it. As the dice get down and you're removing from the board, you're going to get less and less of that until you reseed it. So you can get a little bit of a chunkiness and not as much as a role player and the Sagrada provides you, but it does give you a little thinkier turns in it. And I think that is fun, and I actually enjoy that in a game. So that being said, if that sounds like something that you like as well, then I do recommend this game. If it's something that doesn't appeal to you, then by all means go ahead and skip it. I do want to touch on the artwork. The Miko artwork it adds extra subconsciously to a game of being visually appealing as you look at it. He has a cartoony, wicked, sinister vibe to his artwork, if that even makes any sense. That's the best I can describe it. But for me, it elevates a game, and maybe that has a factor on it for me. But I enjoyed this game. I'm getting the expansion. If you play this game solo and you have a multiplayer group, this looks like it will be a fun multiplayer game. I have a multiplayer group that I play with, and I played enough multiplayer games that I can see certain things that will appeal to my game group in particular. So keep that in mind. It may be just not for solo that you may end up picking it up and get some real multiplayer value out of this game as well. But for solo gameplay, I enjoy it. It's staying in my collection. Obviously, I'm getting the Riftlands expansion. I want to see what that adds to it. After 12 games, I'm not at the point where I beat it every time. I did win the last 2 games, but I lost the game before that. And maybe 10 games from now, that'll completely change. But if that's the case, you can always start the enemy up at 35 points. You have the ability to adjust there. And I do appreciate that it is a win-loss condition. Even though you're scoring points, you either win the game or you lose the game. You're not just comparing your previous score to see if you can get higher than what you got previously, which you can do by all means. There's nothing wrong with that. But getting a win or getting a loss, I find a little bit more enjoyable. So that's my thoughts on Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. If you find yourself still here at the end of the video, please consider subscribing if you're not. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for watching. It's really appreciated. I'll catch you next video.